Alright, so now I'm doing 3 more characters from Yandere Simulator. Right now I'm doing Oka, and she's one of the characters I had the biggest issues with. Like, her original design has her in like a mini skirt with tights and all that, but it's really obvious to me that she's like inspired by the Hex Maniac and Tomoko from Watamote, who both are very like shy characters. And see, the appeal of them and the whole thing is that they're very clothed, they're very shy, they're very like spooky, they're very like gloomy. So I didn't think it would make very much sense to put her in a mini skirt, and it does not seem like it makes sense to her character to wear one. So I ended up redesigning her entire uniform and giving her a much longer skirt. I also changed her hair to cover one eye, and I gave her hairstyle is about the same. I didn't want to change it too much. It might look different, but that's only because of my own art style. I gave her very like down facing eyes, you know, like Fluttershy from My Little Pony. But I wanted her to have like the same messy hair, the same like vibe to her of being very gloomy, very spooky, very like, she's a very goth girl. And that's what I did for her uniform. I also gave her the jumper, the sweater instead of the blazer, because I felt like it worked better for her. Like the messy hair and everything, it works better to put her. And I also gave her a turtleneck underneath her sailor uniform, which is actually something I used for my Magical Warrior Diamond Heart characters. And it was something I was inspired from Mawaru Penguin Drum. I really liked the turtleneck under the sailor uniform look, so I was happy to use that again because I think it looks pretty neat. And yeah, she has like the longest skirt I've drawn so far. I tried to give her a very, very long skirt. And at this point, I was like having trouble like figuring out the anatomy since so much of her leg was covered. So I had to redo that, just redo a new sketch. And her color, she's the one character that ended up changing the most, like with her color wise, and you'll see how, but I definitely gave her a very, very dark color scheme. And she has the loafers, which I don't like drawing, but I feel like I'm getting better at now that I've drawn them so much. And I was gonna give her the same hair color, but I ended up going with a purple. I feel like that looks better on her. But her basic uniform is like the exact same color scheme as Ayano, except I also gave her a purple sweater, and then I added the red armband. And I gave her scrunchy socks, which is also like a Tomoko from Watamote thing. And I gave her darker skin because at this point I thought, well, it looked pretty cool on her. Like, if you ever seen those shirts that's like, so goth I was born black, I thought that was like kind of a cute concept to make her entire like character to be very dark, even to her skin tone. Because, you know, like, I know a lot of people like the whole Snow White hair and ivory skin and all that combination, but I feel like it's a bit overplayed with like goth characters. Like, goths in general love to do the very pale skin with the very dark hair, but I feel like you can do it differently. In this case, I just like, I desaturated her skin, or at least I tried to. I usually draw the skin way more saturated. And when I was doing the eyes, I was debating on whether or not to give her a highlight, but I actually decided not to, because I felt like the highlight, without the highlight, she looks pretty good, and it also helps with like the spooky thing to her. I also added like the blue shadow in her skin to make her look like she was in the dark. I couldn't decide if I wanted to give her like black lipstick, but I didn't like how it looked. And it doesn't really fit with like her very messy, like sleepy looking character. Like, she doesn't look like the type who puts a lot of like effort into her appearance. Like, she's not that kind of goth. A lot of goths put like a lot of effort into their appearance. This one is more of a, I'm not sure how I would describe it other than like sleepy goth, or like maybe like zombie goth core or whatever, like something like that. But yeah, and next I ended up doing Muja, who was a character I really didn't want to do at first, but I figured her character I could save by just aging her down. When I was reading the wiki, according to the wiki, she's a character who is very like, she's clumsy and she's not very smart. She's like very clumsy, not very smart, very, very like innocent, like she's always doing like sexual innuendos. And I figured, well, I'm like completely dropping the whole clumsy sexual innuendo nurse. It's not a very good look for a nurse anyways, but for a student, I feel like a student who wants to be a nurse would definitely be pretty clumsy. So I aged her down. I felt like all of that would work except for the whole fan servicey thing. I wanted her to be like a very caring student who's like one of the older students. She's very caring. A lot of people see her as like the school's angel, the school's like nurse in training. She's always helping people. She carries band-aids in her bag, and she's very good at what she does. But she's still clumsy because she's still a student, so she's not the best at like nursing people, but she really tries. And for her hair, I gave her the same hairstyle, and I, instead of giving her the nurse thing, because she's not a nurse anymore, I gave her a headband with like a cross-shaped bow to hopefully signalize that old character in her. I also gave her glasses at the beginning, and then I ended up putting them back later on after recording, but then I realized she looked way too much like Miyuki from Lucky Star, so I ended up scrapping that. But yeah, I gave her the bow in her sailor uniform because I feel like that made her look a lot softer, made her look a lot more sweet. And I gave her a soft like jumper sweater instead of the blazer. So a lot of the students aren't going to be wearing the blazers in these designs, at least so far. But yeah, with her pose, I tried to make it look like she was in a hurry and maybe she's very clumsy at what she does, but she really wants to be a nurse. And like I kept her colors about the same. So she has like the white socks and pink Mary Janes, which I thought Mary Janes work really well for her. They make her look a lot cuter and a lot sweeter. But her color scheme is about the same, like is the same as I could go while keeping like the actual uniform intact, because I can't like give her an entirely different uniform. That doesn't make any sense. So like design wise, she really didn't change much. I just aged her down into a teenager, so she wouldn't be a very creepy rival anymore. I know in the wiki it says that she doesn't have a crush on Senpai and that he might have a crush on her, but the game isn't out yet, so I'm not really sure if that's actually the case. The whole sexual innuendos things isn't a very good look if that's what he's trying to go for. And I feel like her as a rival could be saved if I aged her down. Like, it would work a lot better. Also, if she's a nurse, why would she be so clumsy? So, like, spilling things over, like, that's just malpractice. Like, who wants a nurse that's gonna give them a shot in the wrong place or something? But, like, if she's a student, it makes more sense. Like, she doesn't handle the shots, she doesn't handle the medication, but she carries band-aids and she tries to help people in whatever way she can. But she's still young, so she doesn't quite know what she's doing yet, but she's trying her best. So I'm not going to do the other teacher, though, because I really don't think her character can be salvaged at all. But next I ended up actually doing Senpai, and his concept was, okay, I know he's supposed to be like the generic, like bishoujo anime harem protagonist where he's like very plain. You know how in harem anime they got that very plain dude that all the girls just fall over? But I don't like that. I don't know anyone who does like that. So I decided to go the shoujo route and go with a kind of guy that all the girls would adore. So I changed his appearance to be kind of cooler, although this is also just how I draw guys in general. So I changed his appearance. I gave the boys a different uniform. I feel like a blazer matches with the girls a lot better than the whatever army uniform they're wearing right now. And I know I said I didn't care if it was like anime. It doesn't matter if it's the middle school uniform at all. But I do feel like this uniform does match with the girls' uniform a lot better if I use the blazer. So with Senpai, I ended up going with a cooler look. I wanted him to look kind and sweet, but a little bit cool. Like the kind of guy that a lot of girls would like. Like, this would be the most popular guy in school in the shoujo manga. Think like Masaya Aoyama from Tokyo Mew Mew. And maybe Tuxedo Mask, Mamoru Daidoji. Not Daidoji, I'm so dumb. That's my character. That's Cure Man. Mamoru Sailor Moon. But yeah, I wanted him to be like, kind of give him a cool vibe, so I like matured his face up, gave him a messy look. I feel like he would be the kind of guy that, he's very smart, he's very good with his grades, he's like a pretty typical guy. He doesn't like, he's not doing too much, he's not like super athletic, he's not the most athletic guy, but he's pretty strong, he's pretty cool. A lot of girls get along with him, and so a lot of people like really envy him, and he probably has like a whole lot of friends, so he's like a lot less shy. I also gave him a bit of a tan, which is kind of inspired by my Masaya from Tokyo Mew Mew 2. And I gave him brown hair because I feel like that makes him stand out without making him look a little bit too cool. Because when I gave him I did go for dark hair, which you'll see in a little bit. And I thought that the darker hair made him look way too cool, and then lighter hair made him look too cool. So having the hair and skin kind of match works better for him. And that's really what I did for him. I really wanted him to like look more like a standard shoujo love interest. And I feel like a lot of shoujo does have like really cool guys, so I feel like he would be pretty average as far as like appearance wise, but he's pretty handsome. He's pretty like nice. A lot of people really like this guy. He's very friendly, and this would explain why so many girls just fall over themselves for him without like changing his like basic look too much. Like, he does look a lot different, but I really didn't change like his hairdo or anything. I just changed his color scheme and his outfit. And yeah, you can see them together, so I wonder if do they look like they could be a couple. Does this look like someone that Ayano would fall for? I think so. And here are the 3 characters I've drawn. Thank you for watching. I'll probably add more characters later on in the future. Like I said, I plan on doing just about all of them. So if you really like these designs, subscribe and hit the little bell notification button. You can see more art. I'm going to try to do more art videos, and if there are any other kind of videos you want to see, just let me know. Bye-bye.